welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're digging into a really interesting, maybe even profound business idea called Memory Vault.
It's got a lot of layers to it, definitely.
It really does. This isn't just, another tech app. It's pitched as a global emotional tech business. Think digital time capsules, but with a very personal touch.
Right.
So our mission today is basically to unpack what Memory Vault actually is, figure out why it might have this universal appeal, look at the nuts and bolts of how you'd build something like this.
And the impact it could have, right? How we connect over time.
Exactly. Because this feels like it's about more than just data. It's pitched as preserving emotions, connections, things that are pretty universal.
Absolutely. Let's jump in.
Okay, so Memory Vault. The core idea, it's a service, a digital time capsule service. You create content letters, photos, videos, whatever feels personal, store it securely. And then, this is the key part, you schedule it.
Schedule it for delivery way off in the future.
Right, to yourself maybe, or to family, friends. Whenever you designate, it could be years, even decades later.
But that's the hook.
Yeah. And to make it concrete, they give some examples. Like, imagine a father in India. He records a video message for his daughter.
Okay.
But it's time to arrive only when she turns 18.
Wow. Okay. That's powerful.
Or think about a student, maybe in the U.S., writing a letter. Not to someone else, but to themselves.
To their future self.
Yeah, like, Dear 30-year-old me, scheduled to arrive when they hit that age.
That's a fascinating idea. Self-reflection across time.
And one more. A mother in Japan, maybe putting together a photo album, but scheduling it specifically for her child's wedding day, whenever that might be.
These are really hitting on major life moments, aren't they? Universal milestones.
They are. And that leads to the next point.
Which is why this feels like it could work anywhere, globally.
Exactly.
Well, what's fascinating here, I think, is that it taps into something fundamentally human, right? Emotions don't really have borders. Love, legacy, wanting to remember, wanting to pass things on, that feeling is pretty much everywhere, regardless of culture or language.
So it's not just preserving a memory, it's like sending a piece of yourself forward.
Precisely. It could even create new ways for families to connect across generations. Think about passing down values, stories, advice, but delivered decades later.
That's a really interesting angle. Intergenerational dialogue almost.
Yeah, and crucially, there isn't really a big global platform doing exactly this right now, not this personal scheduled delivery system. So there's a gap, an opportunity.
Okay, so the idea is compelling, but then comes the practical side. How do you actually build and run this thing from scratch?
Right, the technology.
Step one, obviously, is the platform itself. It needs to be a web app, a mobile app, clean, user-friendly.
And secure. Very secure.
Definitely. Users log in, create these vaults, text, photos, videos, and set those delivery dates and methods.
Yeah.
Email, maybe WhatsApp.
Or even physical mail, which adds another dimension.
Yeah, we'll get to that. But the core is that digital platform.
And building on that platform, step two is the back end. Leveraging the cloud and, as you said, serious encryption.
So using something like AWS or Google Cloud for scale.
Exactly. You need that global reach and reliability if you're promising storage for potentially decades. And security, well, it's non-negotiable.
Can't mess that up.
Absolutely not. The plan mentions AES 256 encryption for all the user content. That's, military-grade, bank-level stuff.
Okay, so very strong.
Very strong. It makes the data essentially unreadable to anyone unauthorized. Plus, they're thinking about regional servers.
For data compliance, like GDPR and things like that.
Precisely. Different countries have different rules. Setting up servers regionally helps manage that and keeps data closer to the users, which can also help with trust and speed. It's all about making sure these incredibly personal memories are safe and private long-term.
Okay, tech sounds solid. Then how do you take this to market? And make money from the business side? Always important. The go-to-market strategy starts focused. Key English-speaking regions first, it seems. India, the US, UK, Canada, Australia.
Makes sense. Test beds, maybe.
Could be. Then the plan is to expand Japan, Brazil, Germany, UAE, France. So a clear phased rollout.
A global ambition from the start, though.
Definitely. Now, the pricing. This is where it gets really interesting, I think. They've thought quite a bit about the tiers.
How does it break down?
Well, there's a free plan, which is smart, right? Lets anyone try it. But it's basic one vault, text only.
Low barrier to entry.
Exactly. Then a basic plan. It looks like around $5 a year. Or 199 rupees in India. That gives you up to 10 vaults Adds photos, and even some basic video, like up to 500
Yeah,
milliliter.
okay, still very accessible.
Then the premium plan, about $15 a year or 599 rupees. This one's unlimited vaults, much bigger storage for video, audio, photos, 2 GB each. And it includes an AI writing assistant.
An AI assistant for writing the letters.
Seems like it. Could help people articulate their thoughts, maybe.
Interesting add-on.
And finally, a lifetime plan. One-time payment, looks like around $40 or 1,999 rupees. Unlimited vaults, basically forever, with a 25-year storage guarantee explicitly mentioned.
A 25-year guarantee. That's a bold promise in the tech world.
It is. Shows commitment, I guess. But it doesn't stop there. They also have physical delivery options.
Right. You mentioned printed mail earlier.
Yeah, so printed letter delivery. Costs about $10 or 499 rupees per letter. They physically print and mail your message on the scheduled date.
A tangible connection to the past. I like that.
Me too. And then there's a USB vault box delivery, more expensive, around $40 or 1,999 rupees. It's a physical box with a personalized USB drive inside, containing, say, video and photo memories.
So a physical keepsake as well as the digital message.
Exactly. And one more small thing, a gift a vault option, like pay a few bucks to let someone else create a vault.
Spreading the idea. Nice touch.
Seems quite well-rounded.
And looking beyond the current plans, they mentioned potential optional add-ons coming soon. These could really enhance things.
Oh, yeah. Like what?
Well, AI voice letter narration. So your written message gets read out by an AI voice. Could be powerful, costs a bit extra.
Huh, interesting.
Also, vault translation into over 20 languages. That really leans into the global vision. Pay a small fee per translation.
That makes sense if you're sending messages across cultures or borders.
Definitely. And then there's something called memory NFTs for blockchain storage.
Okay, blockchain. How does that fit in?
The idea seems to be creating a unique, verifiable digital certificate for your vault on a public blockchain, like immutable proof that you created this specific memory vault at a certain time. Another extra cost.
So an added layer of permanence and verification.
Kind of, yeah. And finally, an annual family vault subscription. Maybe a shared space for family memories.
Lots of avenues for growth there.
For sure. These add-ons show they're thinking about diversifying how people use it and how the business sustains itself.
So diving back into that go-to-market strategy globally, it sounds like it leans heavily on emotion.
Makes sense for this product.
They talk about using emotional reels, short videos, influencers, creating viral campaigns, things like a letter to my 2035 self.
Stuff designed to resonate, get shared.
Yeah, or what I want to tell my daughter on her wedding day. Really pulling at the heartstrings to get attention.
Emotional marketing makes perfect sense here.
And beyond just social media buzz, they mention university collaborations. Offering graduation packages, maybe, where students create vaults opened years later.
That's clever, tying it to a life transition.
Yeah. And strategic partnerships, too.
Yeah.
With therapists, parenting websites, wedding planners, even insurance companies, positioning it as a legacy planning tool.
Framing it as something more than just sentimentality. Practical legacy.
Exactly. It all sounds incredibly compelling, but, we touched on this. Promising things decades down the line.
Raises the trust issue again. Big time.
How do you build and maintain that kind of trust over potentially 20, 30, 50 years? That feels like the biggest hurdle.
It absolutely is. And that brings us to what they call the trust and legacy model. It's arguably the most critical piece.
So what's in that model?
Well, the innovation here isn't just the tech. It's trying to build psychological trust for this huge leap of faith. It's a challenge few digital platforms have really faced, let alone solved.
Right. So how do they plan to do it?
It seems to rest on a few pillars. First, those encrypted vaults we talked about, the technical security foundation.
Okay, table stakes.
Pretty much. Second, setting up emergency contacts or heirs, people who can potentially access the vaults if, something happens to the original creator.
Ah, okay. A contingency plan. That's important.
Very. Third, that optional blockchain timestamping we mentioned offers a kind of external, immutable proof that the vault was created.
Adds another layer of verification, maybe peace of mind for some users.
Could do. And fourth, importantly, ongoing engagement. Annual email or app reminders asking users to basically reconfirm their vaults are still active, that contact details are up to date.
So it's not just set it and forget it entirely. They prompt you.
Seems that way. It's an effort to keep the connection alive and ensure the system remains reliable over the long haul. It's a comprehensive approach trying to build that long-term confidence.
Which you absolutely need for something like this.
No question.
So wrapping this all up, what does it really mean? Memory vault. It feels like more than just an app you download, use for a bit, and then,
Yeah.
forget about it.
It aims higher than that.
It really does. It feels like a tool trying to help us connect across time in a genuinely meaningful way. I keep coming back to that core message they state.
The one about storing love, not just data.
Yeah, you're not storing data, you're storing love, dreams, and memories. That's why it will work in every country, in every language, in every heart.
It's a powerful mission statement.
It is. It's about trying to build a bridge to the future, but using the most valuable parts of our present, our emotions, our connections.
And, that leads to a really interesting final thought for you, listening right now.
Go on.
How might services like this, like Memory Vault, actually change how we think about legacy, about connecting between generations, especially as everything becomes more digital?
Good question.
Does it change what memory even means when you can curate it so carefully, store it for decades, and have it delivered precisely when you intend? It makes you wonder about the future of remembering itself.